And now, Mike's thoughts.
The NFL is cracking down on excessive celebrations. They're cracking down on the humping of the air. They're cracking down on the two-finger salute. They are cracking down on the wiping of the nose and going to the first down, right? Mr. CeeDee Lamb does it very, very nicely. People are up in arms about this swiping of the nose. People are like, the No Fun League is back. The No Fun League is back. The No Fun League is back. And I'm like, whoa, slow it down, baby. I'm like, first things first. I have no idea what the wiping of the nose means. Like, I just like, hey, man, I don't know. First of all, I thought it was stupid. I thought it was Ask 9, Ask 10, Ask 11, Ask 12. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. So some of my high school kids started to do it. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. That is dumb. Ask 9, Ask 10, Ask 11, Ask 12. So I had to go to the old chat GPT. Guys, like I said, what does the wiping of the nose mean? They're like, it's because you have snot running down your nose. Like, well, that's not right. So I went to the old Urban Dictionary, urbandictionary.com, and I said, wipe your nose. What does it mean? Guys, did you know the wiping of the nose is a term of violence? The term wiping your nose refers to the act of violent acting to the ops, meaning the opposition to your enemies in a harsh manner, sometimes sending the ops to the hospital/ER. So basically, every time that he would be like that, he was saying, I murked you fools, I killed you, I'm sending you to the ER. Now, I understand, like, the common person does not know that. Everybody has Google. Google is free. You could easily looked it up, but I chose not to. But now that I know there's a violent act of the opposition, attacking the opposition, putting them in the hospital, putting them in a vegetational state, I'm like, whoa, slow it down, baby. That is dumb. Of course we can't banish the grapes out there, right, Papa? Of course we can't do that. Of course we can't hump the air. But swiping out the nose, you can't do that either. Guys, you understand that every college athlete, NFL athlete, hell, little kids mock what the NFL does? Come up with the whole nose thing. Like, that's stupid too. Like, what are you, a freaking elephant? Guys, the No Fun League is not a thing, right? Yes, no, having no fun, whatever. But like wiping out the nose, it's a violently attacking the opposition. It is beating the opposition down into submission. Has to stop. I'm glad that is gone. Super, super glad that is gone. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go! What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse, you're here with the Man Hour. Sort of manhourradio.com, guys. Check out the merchandise page, or check out the blog section as well. If you're watching this over here on youtube.com/Man Hour, hit that like button, hit the share button as well. If you're watching this on facebook.com/Man Hour, hit that like button, hit the share button. If you're watching this over here on the old Twitter machine, hit the art button, hit the retweet button, guys, because sharing is caring at the end of the day, and everybody love everybody. We are part of the Believe Sports Network, guys, so if you guys are interested in any other shows, if you're looking for a Cowboys show, if you're looking for a Royals show, if you're looking for a Pac-12 show, if you're looking for a Houston Texans show or a SMU show, guys, head over to the Believe Sports Network. They literally got each and everything that you have over there, guys, so check it out. But, guys, we kind of got a fly by the seat show today. We got a kind of a fly by the sheet show today. Work was crazy, so I didn't have too much time to prepare, but we were going to talk about the potential of Kirk Cousins getting traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to talk about that. We got to talk about that. And then we're going to wrap the show up with a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. Jaxson Dart edition, NFL playoff seeding, and Mark Kaboly. Something like this. Here, let me go ahead and pop a picture up for you. Where's my mouse? Look at this man. Look at this man. We got to talk about that, guys. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that and a hell of a lot more today. But, guys, this is a live interactive show. We are live every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. We got to welcome some people into the chat. We got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. James Frank says, how dare you arouse that air? How dare they know the air don't like it? James is referring to the whole sniffing the nose and doing the first down thing, the barrel, right? Pew. I mean, and like, honestly, do you think that CeeDee Lamb knows what that means, or the other people that like does what it's like CeeDee Lamb does it and Justin Jefferson does it, and I'm not for sure who else does it, but let's just be honest. Those guys are not gangsters. Those guys are not gangsters by any stretch of the imagination. So they probably haven't even seen violence. But hey, it is what it is. Let's Go Sports is in the chat today as well. What's up? Let's Go Sports says, yo, what's up? What's up, my brother? What's up? Old man River pigskin punting himself.
Pigskin pun. Get yourself.
He says, what up? What's up, old man River? Hope you're having a good day. My man James Frank says, Baker ain't gonna like that. James, Baker Mayfield does that? Baker Mayfield does the whole swiping of the nose? That is the dumbest thing in the world. I had 2 kids do it on my team. I said, stop it. It's dumb. Do you know what it means? Like, oh, no, but it looks cool. I'm like, it doesn't look cool, brother. Like, I know what cool is. I got that swag, and you have none of it, Mr. 16-year-old kid. Sit your ass down, boy. Sit your ass down, boy. Boy. Man, as soon as I heard that, I was like, what the? That is what I was telling to them. I was telling that. That is what I was telling when I heard that. I was like, shut up. My man Alpha Rob's in the chat today as well. What's up, Alpha Rob? Hope you're having a good day, brother. Old man River says, someone with a lot of wisdom said Cousin was going to Pittsburgh. Old man River, you did say it last night. But I also gave you the rundown from last night, and we did not cover it. So you're just mocking what I say. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, baby. But yes, you did say it. You did say it first. And Let's Go Sports says, I can tell you one thing: Cousins is not going to Pittsburgh. He says, I'm not saying it would be a dumb decision, but for the Steelers, they do not need to make that trade. Instead, they should trade up. And that is exactly where we're going to start tonight. Let's Go Sports. That's exactly where we're going to start tonight, Man Hour Nation. That is the potential of Kirk Cousins going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The potential of Kirk Cousins being a draft day trade. The potential of Mason Rudolph not being the starter in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I should say. So, as you guys know, the NFL meetings are happening right now, and there's microphones being shoved in everybody's faces, right? Everybody's getting microphones shoved in their faces, and Mike Tomlin was sweating profusely. The old man sitting here like, right? But Mike Tomlin said yesterday that he is comfortable if Mason Rudolph is a starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. However, Kirk Cousins has been linked to a draft day trade to the Pittsburgh Steelers if the Aaron Rodgers wheel does not work out. So, guys, Let's Go Sports, Alpha Rob, Old Man River, James, the rest of the people that are in here tonight, should the Pittsburgh Steelers have more faith in Mason Rudolph, half a head himself, or one leg, one Achilles, Mr. Kirk Cousins? Who should they have more faith in if Aaron Rodgers does not eventually come to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Now, let's get the facts out there. The facts are that the Falcons have been on the record saying that they will not cut or release Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is their backup quarterback. Kirk Cousins is not going anywhere from Atlanta. As you guys know, Kirk Cousins is currently listed as the backup quarterback to the Atlanta Falcons behind Michael Penix Jr. He was benched last 3 games of the season after a abysmal 5-game stretch where he had like 1 touchdown to 9 interceptions. It was just terrible, right? But the simple fact of the matter is that Kirk Cousins is being paid a lot of money by the Atlanta Falcons to sit the bench. The Atlanta Falcons lost a 4th-round pick for collusion to bring Kirk Cousins into Atlanta to pay him $100 million, or it was like $100 million guaranteed. It was like $125 million after it's all said and done, just to be him on the bench to be a backup. It doesn't really make sense to sit him back there. But Kirk Cousins does have a no trade clause in his contract. Kirk Cousins has had the most friendly and the best contracts ever in the NFL. But let's just be honest. Why would Kirk Cousins want to sit behind Michael Penix Jr. when he has a chance to be a starter in Pittsburgh? Guys, Kirk Cousins finished the 2024 NFL season on a very, very bad note. He had 112 yards versus those Las Vegas Raiders, where he threw his first touchdown in 4 weeks. In the previous 5 weeks of the season, he had 9 interceptions to 1 touchdown. That is rough. Now, after the Super Bowl, it was later said that he had an injury in those 5 games, and therefore he was being benched to heal the injury, whatever, right? I never heard what the injury was. Did you guys ever hear what the injury was? I never heard what the injury was. Maybe the injury was just old age. That could have been it, right? Now, on the flip side of that, Mason Rudolph did play in 8 games last season. 8. Put him up. Not Miss Davis 10, but 8. I had 9, but 8, right? In those 8 games, Mason Rudolph racked up 1,530 yards total passing with 9 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So really, right off the bat, Mason Rudolph is pretty damn good compared to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had 9 interceptions in 5 games in a row. And Mason Rudolph had 9 interceptions in 8 games. Hey, we're improving. We're looking a little better, right? He did get credit for 2 wins in Tennessee versus Miami and an overtime win over the New England Patriots. His best game yard-wise was a loss to the Detroit Lions, where he did throw for 266 yards. They did end up losing that game 52-12. A lot of mop-up duty time, like a lot of sloppy seconds, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, guys, the question is simple. The question is, should the Steelers have more faith in Mason Rudolph or Kirk Cousins? And I don't know how much more blatantly we can say this. Kirk Cousins is proven in the NFL. Kirk Cousins has been there. He has done that. What has Mason Rudolph done? His rookie season, he got his head smashed in by freaking Myles Garrett. And then the following season, he had to get his face mask ripped off because he got knocked the F out, right? He has a half a brain. It may have finally developed back in there after 3 seasons later. But really, guys, Mason Rudolph is a nice, pliable backup. But that's about it. Kirk Cousins can go in there and win you games. If it comes down to trading to Kirk Cousins or relying on Mason Rudolph, I am trading for Kirk Cousins 10 out of 10 times. I am relying on the 42-year-old Achilles injury back to 80% Kirk Cousins. Let's just be honest. I do not like Mason Rudolph. I never liked Mason Rudolph. I don't have any faith in Mason Rudolph. And it's clear that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have any faith in him either. If they had faith in him, they would not be putting Aaron Rodgers up on this pedestal, right? Cam Hayward wouldn't be putting Aaron Rodgers up on this pedestal. He wouldn't be playing catch with DK Metcalf, putting him up on this pedestal. There's a reason why they want Aaron Rodgers so bad, because they know Mason Rudolph is not it. Now, if you could potentially give Skylar Thompson a shot, my man from the Kansas State University, give him a shot, we might have a different story. Might be a different story for a different day, but Mason Rudolph or Kirk Cousins, give me Kirk Cousins. So what do you guys think? Mason Rudolph or Kirk Cousins at the end of the day? And James Frank says Kirk Cousins will end up in Cleveland before he ends up in Pittsburgh. I hope he goes to Pittsburgh because I don't want him. Guys, let's just be perfectly honest. James Frank is a Cleveland Browns fan. James Frank wants anybody that has a pulse right now besides Kenny Pickett in Cleveland. James would probably take Kenny Pickett off of the Pittsburgh Steelers' hands for another 4th-round pick or 5th-round pick. Hey, send us all your sloppy seconds over here in Cleveland. We like those, baby. But I am starting to hear that story, those James. I am starting to hear that, hey, Kirk Cousins could be ending up in Cleveland, especially after Who is the owner of the Cleveland Browns? Can't think of his name right here off the top of my head, but he has come out and said that, hey, we swung and missed on Deshaun Watson. It was a swing and a miss, and we need to own it, and we're owning it now, right? So it is what it is. Old Man River says experience speaks for itself. Kirk Cousins does have a lot of experience. Kirk Cousins has been around the block per se, right? He spent 4 or 5 years in Washington. At the time it was the Redskins. Then he went to Minnesota, and now he's in Atlanta. Like, he has definitely served his time out there, right? I gotta know how many years, but let's say 15, 16 years in the NFL. He's going to be 42 years old this season. He has been there. He's done that. And let's just be honest. The Steelers are a quarterback away. My man Drew's in the chat. What's up, Drew? What's up, man? Hope you're having a good day. Alpha Rob said the Steelers are a veteran team. I don't think they go with a rookie. Cousins is the best bet. So, a lot of people are speculating that the Pittsburgh Steelers will be drafting a quarterback in the first round. Whether it's Jaxson Dart, whether it's making a reach for a Will Howard or a Milroe, or potentially even moving as far as up as like a top 10 pick and getting a Jaxson Dart, right? I mean, like, all signs are pointing that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to try to draft a quarterback if this Aaron Rodgers thing falls through. But you are right, Alpha Rob. The Pittsburgh Steelers like to build from within. They like to draft a quarterback. They like to allow him to develop and see what they can do, right? However, didn't Mike Tomlin draft a rookie Ben Roethlisberger? They went to the Super Bowl the following season. Wasn't that right? So, I mean, they have played rookie quarterbacks before, but we'll see. Drew says Kurt would be a better pick than Mason Rudolph. And Drew, you're right. I'm with you on this, Drew. I agree. I think Kirk Cousins is better off than Mason Rudolph. And now, I like Mason Rudolph when he was in the big 12. Well, he was an Oklahoma State Cowboy, right? He wasn't too bad in college. But for some reason, ever since Myles Garrett whooped his ass, like, I don't like him. I don't know if it's his face. I don't know if it's like him, like, saying the N-word to Myles Garrett. Like, I don't know. I don't like his face. Now, obviously, if we would meet in public, I'm not going to say I don't like your face, but I'll be cordial to him and shake his hand and say, hey, man, what's up? But sitting here behind the camera, watching this game, I just don't like his face. Like, I don't get it, but I just don't like his face. Let's Go Sports says, I'm comfortable with Rudolph as the quarterback as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I don't want it to happen because if there's consistent and they can make a deep ball throw or basic pass to George Pickens or DK, I'm good with him for one season. And Let's Go Sports, this is kind of the dilemma that you guys are in, right? If you get Aaron Rodgers, 1 year, potentially 2-year quarterback. You get Kirk Cousins, 1 year, potentially 2 years quarterback. Mason Rudolph could be there still for another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, right? And we know that Mike Tomlin is going to get his 8, 9, 10 wins. That's just his MO. Doesn't have a losing season. And when Pittsburgh Steelers say, oh, we're getting 10 wins with Mason Rudolph, why do we need to draft a quarterback? Why do we need to trade for a quarterback? Why do we need to do this? I could see that being the beginning of the end of the Pittsburgh Steelers, having Mason Rudolph just have a little bit of success, saying, we'll keep him for another year. Next season he gets 10 wins again. The following season he gets 11 wins. He's back down to like 9. And then we're in this whole controversy yet again, and 3, 4, 5 years down the road. But this time the defense is a hell of a lot older. The offense is a hell of a lot older. And now you need more pieces than just a quarterback. So I'm not saying Mason Rudolph is going to be the man, the myth, the legend. Do not get that twisted. I am saying that he will be a 9, 10 win quarterback, just like Kirk Cousins, just like Aaron Rodgers. But I would still take Kirk Cousins. Alpha Rob says Cousins will be better this year physically. Alpha Rob, I wonder if Kirk Cousins was so when you have an injury that just takes time to heal, right? I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, all the rest of the wannabe doctors out there, it takes time for stuff to heal. It takes 7-8 months for an ACL to fully heal. It takes a year for the Achilles to fully heal. It takes 9 weeks for a shoulder to feel it to like fully heal. At the end of the day, it just takes time for it to fully heal. And I get you on that aspect. However, when you are in a new city, when you have this massive deal, when they colluded to come to get you, and then all the pressure is on your shoulders, and you know in your heart to heart that you are not 100%, and you know in your heart to hearts that you are not performing to the level that like you can, that starts to weigh on you. I was talking about Kirk Cousins. Because when Kirk Cousins went to ATL, went to the Atlanta Falcons, got that hashtag rise up, got the dirty bird going on, or the swag wave, or whatever the hell they do down there, right? The pressure was on for them to win right then and right now. Hell, let's flash back to the first 6 weeks of that NFL season. The Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins put up that 600-yard passing game, or 500-yard passing game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football. Everybody and their dog saying, Kirk Cousins, comeback player of the year. Atlanta Falcons, Super Bowl. They're winning the South. They're going to run the NFC, whatever. The Detroit Lions better look out. Everybody was putting him up on this pedestal, and that added pressure to Kirk Cousins. Then he started to slide a little bit. Once you start to slide a little bit, it gets slippery. They put that Dawn dish soap down. Yeah, once that one foot starts to slide, you can kind of lean back and plant the other foot and try to save it. But damn it, once you start going down that slip and slide, it is all the way down to the bottom till you get there. And that's what Kirk Cousins did at the end of the season. And that same pressure is going to be on in Pittsburgh. That same pressure that he had in Atlanta is going to be in Pittsburgh as well. Because Steelers are legitimately a quarterback away being a Super Bowl caliber team. The Pittsburgh Steelers are legitimately a quarterback of winning the AFC North, winning a wild card game, snapping that, 7-8 game losing streak of the first round that Mike Tomlin has. It's tough. Let's Go Sports says, I want to win now and don't think Rudolph would take us far. But if we don't get A-Rod, I don't think we have many more options than to draft a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round. Let's Go Sports, you are right. The Pittsburgh Steelers are built to win right now. It is what it is.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
They are built to win right now. They have a top-tier defense. They finished, I think, 12th last year, I do believe. Maybe 13th. My mind's serving me right. The offense was obviously not very good, but they got a pretty good receiver core. They got a nice little running back in Jaylen Warren. They are a quarterback away. If they get a quarterback that doesn't suck, like I said last June, all you need is Russell Wilson not to suck. All you need is Justin Fields not to suck. They are a playoff-bound team. The issue with drafting a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round, will more than likely be a project. They more than likely will not be ready for the NFL. They more than likely will be happy sitting on the bench for 3 years behind Mason Rudolph or Aaron Rodgers and hopefully one chance get a shot. That's just what it is. You are not going to win with Mason Rudolph. You can win with Aaron Rodgers. You can win with Kirk Cousins. So why not trade for Kirk Cousins, give them back their 3rd round pick, whatever they got for him, right? Hell, maybe even put a second in there. Give them Mason Rudolph as their insurance plan. And then you can still take Will Howard in the 4th or 5th round. You can still take Milroe in the 4th or 5th round. Those quarterbacks are probably going to go late off the board. They should, but we'll talk about the draft later. But let's just be honest. Will Howard is your only option. My bad, guys. Allergy season is Live, raw, and uncut here in Southern Indiana. James Frank says, let me be this very, very clear. James, let me clear my throat. Let me down my W energy. Guys, go to w.gg. Use promo code MANHOUR. Get yourself 30% off. He says, screw Mason Rudolph. James, just because Mason Rudolph single-handedly took on your whole defensive line, don't hate the man. Don't hate the player, hit the game. Don't hate the player, hit the game. Wrong, button. Old Man River says, what is his passing stats before the injury? Let's look at his passing stats. So let's use this term loosely. It was injury, right? It was an injury. We don't really know what the injury was. I did not hear what the injury was. Did you guys hear what the injury was? Because I never heard it. But if I remember correctly, the first 6 games of the NFL season, Kirk Cousins was lighting it up. First 6 games of the NFL season, Kirk Cousins was the man, the myth, the legend. So let's kick on Kirk Cousins. 14 games played in the 2024 NFL season. Drum roll, please. Game 1, September 8th, was a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 18-10. He threw for 155 yards. Whatever, it was Arthur Smith's comeback versus the Falcons. There was a lot of emotion in that game. Whatever, yada, yada, yada. Week number 2, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles 22-21. He went 20 for 29, 241 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Week number 3, a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. He threw for 20 for 29, 230 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The next week, this is when they got hot, right? They beat the Saints. Like, if you guys remember at the time, the Saints had like 90 points in 3 games. It was something crazy, right? It was the most points they've scored since their Super Bowl year. Saints are going to the Super Bowl. Saints are great. This, and this, right? How quickly those wheels fell off that bus. But the Falcons beat the Saints at home, 26-24. Kirk Cousins went 21 for 35 for 238 yards for 1 interception. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that game. He went 42 for 48, 509 yards passing, 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. That was that Thursday night game that I was speaking of. And then they played the Cardinals. He went 19 for 30, 225 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. And then a loss to the Seahawks. This was a just bad loss. It was just a terrible game. But he went 24 for 35, 232 yards, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. And then they bounced back. They beat the Buccaneers on the road, 23-29. 276 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They beat the Dallas Cowboys 27-21. Kirk Cousins went 19 for 24, 222 yards passing, 3 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. And then the wheels fell off the wagon. Lost to the Saints, lost to the Broncos, Chargers, and Vikings. And then he ended his season beating the Las Vegas Raiders 14-9 when he went 11 for 17, 112 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So they were pretty good. He had about 2,900 yards passing in those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. So in 9 games, he was it was just under 3,000 yards in those 9 games. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. And then Let's Go Sports says, look at Mason Rudolph's last 3 games of the 2023 regular season. He went 3-0 and absolutely went nuts with Pickens, Muth, and Deontay Johnson. Imagine him now. Don't judge him based off playing in Tennessee. All right, let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's look at the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback. I believe 2023 would have been his sophomore year, right? Sophomore year? Let's go ahead and, guess we need to click on the schedule. Click on 2023. Actually, that would have been his 3rd year, right? Because this is his fifth year. So, last 3 games, they played the Bengals. They played the Seahawks. They played the Baltimore Ravens. They were 7-7 going into this particular game. Mason Rudolph versus the Cincinnati Bengals on December 23rd, 2023. He threw for 290 yards in that particular game. Can I click on it? I can click on it, but it takes me to this. Go to regular season 2023. It's not going to let me do that. So he actually played 4 games in 2023. So let's go back. So he had just under 300 yards in playing the Bengals in his first time starting that particular season. Where are we at? And then the week 17, they were at Seattle. They beat the Seattle Seahawks 30-23. Mason Rudolph went for 274 yards passing in that particular game. And then to wrap up the regular season, January 6, 2023, they traveled to Baltimore Ravens and beat the Baltimore Ravens 17-10, and Mason Rudolph threw for 152 yards. Deontay Johnson had 89 yards. Pickens had 131 yards versus the Seahawks, and Pickens had 195 versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get too crazy, because obviously the Baltimore Ravens did not play that Week 18 game. Let's just call it a spade a spade. They did not play that Week 18 game. So, and Mason Rudolph obviously did not perform very, very well. The Seahawks, they were out of the playoff competition in that Week 17 game as well. It looked like the 49ers already had that division locked up, and the Rams were coming in hot in second place. So they weren't playing for a whole lot. And then the Cincinnati Bengals in 2023, was that the year that Joe Burrow got hurt? I'm not mistaken. Jake Browning was like in there, right? Yeah, because Jake Browning actually beat Mason Rudolph in the head-to-head yardage competition of 335 yards to 290. So let's go sports. I see what you're saying. You are looking at his stats and 290, 250, 156. Not too bad for a third-string quarterback that particular season, but look who they played. The Bengals weren't playing for nothing. Seahawks weren't playing for nothing, and the Bengals already had their number one seed locked up in the AFC. So it's kind of a minute point, right? It is what it is. Drew says Kirk Cousins was injured. He couldn't rotate his leg out to give him a hard leg to throw off of. Drew, I'm not saying he wasn't injured, but in a NFL regular season, by week 13, everybody's injured. Whether it's a nagging sprained ankle, whether it's a hammy, whether it's a rotator cuff, everybody's injured by the time it comes that time of the NFL season. What I'm asking is, like, what was the injury? Was it his Achilles? Was it not fully healed? Was it a knee? Was it a hamstring? Was it a shoulder? What was his injury? That is the main question. That is what I want to know, is what was his injury? And James, I think you nailed Mason Rudolph right there on the head. He says Mason Rudolph looks like a stuck-up douchebag. And yeah, he does, honestly. Like, I just don't like his face. Just don't like his face. And Let's Go Sports says, I would absolutely prefer Cousins over Rudolph, but I think he would cost too much and not be worth the cost. I am not sure what we would have to give up for him, but not be too much. I think realistically, probably a third or fourth round pick, a equivalent to the Geno Smith trade, is what you're looking at for Kirk Cousins. A third round pick is probably what the Falcons would probably want for Kirk Cousins. Jacksonville says Cousin is only 36. No, he's not. Kirk Cousins is not 36. Is he only 36? I thought he was pushing 40. You better be April Fooling me, because I thought Kirk Cousins was a hell of a lot older than that. Okay, he is only 36. My bad. I stand corrected. I thought he was older than that, but still, it's going to be 37 by the time the NFL season starts. The average quarterback is only lasted to the age of 34. We'll see what happens. James says, I'm right there with you, Buck, as Mason Rudolph has a very punchable face. Yeah, he does. Like, he just looks like, I don't know, he always looks like lost. He's just like, I don't know. Cousins to Pittsburgh equals 12 wins, says Old Man River. Old Man River, I'm with you. Any competent quarterback to the Pittsburgh Steelers is 11, 12 wins. Whether it's Kirk Cousins, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, any top 16 quarterback and above gives the Pittsburgh Steelers 12 wins this season. Old Member says I'm thinking it was the drafting of the Penix Jr. Yes. Drafting Penix was definitely a head scratcher, right? You just brought Kirk Cousins in on a 4-year deal, right? 4-year, $100 and some odd million deal. And then you draft a quarterback in the first round. Like, what? Like, come on, man. Come on. Let's Go Sports says, as a Steelers fan, I love Rudolph and the Garrett beef. Garrett got to Rudolph, but then our old lineman destroyed him. He never said the N-word, but did entice the fight. It makes the rivalry better. Do you still think they had that beef? I would be curious because I wonder if it was the Pouncey twins versus Myles Garrett that kind of actually enticed the beef, but Mason Rudolph was kind of being the peacekeeper, but then he said the wrong word. They said, "Get out of here, white boy, with your punchable face. Let me get out of there." Old member says, I met in Minnesota before to be traded on stats. We're not looking at Kirk Cousins' Minnesota stats. Because those stats are going to be inflated with the Kevin O'Connell system. Let's just call a spade a spade. Cousins just has an old soul. He does. Like, I mean, Kirk Cousins kind of has a punchable face too. But also a face that I want to, like, take and go have a beer with all at the same time. I feel like Kirk Cousins is a guy that I would take to the bar and talk shit for him, and hopefully he gets in a fight. Real McCoy says, Steelers fans are crazy if they think this team is better than average. Real McCoy, slow it down, baby. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a top-tier defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a top 6 wide receiver core now in the NFL. I was going to say 5, but I was like, maybe not. Let's slow that down. Let's say top 6. Jaylen Warren is a top 10 running back in the NFL. He is going to have a great year. I thought he should have been the number 1 running back last year in front of Najee Harris, but Najee Harris had the 10-year, whatever, but we'll see how he does in LA, right? The Steelers are legitimately an above-average quarterback away. If they have competent quarterback play, they're a 10, 11, 12-win team, winning a wild card game. Just it is what it is. Drew says they showed Cousins' throw pattern on the big sports channel. It showed the same leg that he pulled his Achilles did not have the same range of motion compared to the beginning of last season. So it wasn't an additional injury, Drew. He just wasn't ready for the season. He just wasn't complete with like rehab, and they threw him into the fire. So I wouldn't call it an injury. I just said he was still injured from the Achilles. They made it seem like there was a new injury. James Frank says they don't have the beef anymore. Miles squashed it. AKA, Miles went on to bigger and better things. And James says, let me be clear. Obviously, I'm a Browns fan, and I will say that Jaylen Warren is a dog. James, I am with you. I like me some Jaylen Warren. I don't know what it is. I like his running style. I like his swagger. He doesn't have that punchable face. And he just goes to work and does what he got to do, right? Let's Go Sports says we're better than average, but we can't play like it for a stretch in a season. The problem is we need to win a playoff, and Cousins only has 1. So even if he gets us to 12 wins max, he still can't do it in the playoffs. And Let's Go Sports, that is the biggest knock of Kirk Cousins, right? Kirk Cousins gets all the stats in the world. 300-yard games, 400-yard games, 500-yard games, gets all the contracts, sharps at target, got the beautiful wife, has a great family, has the white picket fence, he has everything. But the minute the lights start to shine on him just a little bit, he crumbles. Primetime Kirk Cousins is totally different than 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins. Actually, when I pick games, I see when does Kirk Cousins play in primetime, that is a loss. Now, recently, that has been a little bit different, right? He has stepped up in some of those primetime games, but you are correct. He does only have 1 playoff win. However, Mason Rudolph has 0 playoff wins. Skylar Thompson has 0 playoff wins. Skylar Thompson should have beat the Buffalo Bills the year that Tua went down like the week before, and Skylar Thompson got in. But hey, Alpha Rob and the Buffalo Bills like to cheat. Like, it is what it is. So who do you have? 1 win, Kirk Cousins, or 0 wins, Mason Rudolph in the playoffs. Real ball talk with Willie Jackson. What's in the chat? What's up, Willie? Long time no see, brother. He says, we have been a 10-win team, the Steelers, for the last 5 years with a piss-poor quarterback play. Any legit quarterback makes us above average, and that is facts. I said it back in June. If Russell Wilson's going to be above average, this is a playoff team. They're a wild card winning team. Then I got crazy. Then you Pittsburgh Steelers got me a little bit crazy, right? Justin Fields was doing his thing. He was 4-2 as a starter. Insert Russell Wilson. Was it game 7, game 8, or whatever it was? He won those 3 or 4 games in a row. I was on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm like, this is a Super Bowl caliber team. At the time, the Eagles were projecting up. The Steelers were projecting up. I'm like, all Pennsylvania Super Bowl. Holy good Lord, hold my beer. Let's go, baby. And I was all aboard. And then somebody slept with somebody's baby mama. Somebody slept with somebody's baby mama on the defensive side of the ball, and the defense legitimately crumbled. And when that defense crumbled the last 3 or 4 weeks of the NFL season, it put not needed pressure on the offense. And when that non-needed pressure on the offense started to expose itself, they started to crumble as well. Of course, the 3 games in 15 days or 12 days or whatever it is, right? They had the Christmas and then the Saturday and then like the Tuesday, whatever. Hopefully they'll never do that again. The Ravens, the Steelers, the Texans, and the Chiefs all kind of got screwed in that. Of course, they had a nice little long break before the New Year's Eve games and then playoffs, but whatever, right? Like the Chiefs played like 3 games in 12 days and they had like 25 days off till their next game. It was just something stupid. But the Steelers fell all apart the last 3 games because of baby mama drama. Let's go sports. Says Jaylen Warren is a dog, but not a number 1 running back. A really good running back. Number 2, not quite a number 1. And Jaylen Warren is going to have to step up and be that number 1 guy this season. Najee Harris is gone, right? And when you look at their rest of that running back room, I don't have any faith in Cortell Patterson. He's a nice little gimmick guy in like Atlanta, the nice little return guy. And then Kenneth Gainwell, he had a nice little spurt there in Philly, right? I don't have too much faith in him. Jaylen Warren is going to have to be the dog, and he is going to be the dog. You get him 20 touches in a game, he is going to give you 120 yards each and every game. So it is what it is. Let's go. Sports says usually how the Steelers season goes. 3-3, 4-2 in the division. They get a bunch of wins of over 500 teams. Then they get a couple wins over the Browns, at least one like over the Ravens and over the Cincinnati Bengals, and they lose in the wild card. That's facts. Drew says, I'm a Steelers fan. I'd take Pickens in a heartbeat. You have George Pickens. I'm confused. James Frank says, so will Pickens be a Steeler come week 1? I believe so. I believe George Pickens will be a Steeler by week 1. We are now past that April 1st deadline for the Brandon Ayuk trade saga thing. The reason why the April 1st deadline was such a big deal was because as of April 1st, the San Francisco 49ers have to pay him $23 million, $23.4 million, I do believe, and it's against their dead salary cap hit, and they want to pay Brock Purdy, so they're not going to let him go for cheap, right? And George Pickens is in a contract year. So I think George Pickens will be a Pittsburgh Steeler come week 1. I do think that George Pickens will try to ball out all season long. And I do think that George Pickens will be on a different team come 2026. With that being said, when George Pickens walk away, the Pittsburgh Steelers do get that 4th round pick. So if you could, in theory, trade him for a 4th round pick or higher at some point during the season or before the season, by all means do it. By all means go out there and do it. But smart general managers, smart teams will not give anything more than a fourth round pick, because if they cannot work out a deal with George Pickens, that's all they're going to get back in return. But I do think George Pickens will be a Steeler come week 1, as long as Mason Rudolph is not the quarterback. We will see. Justin is not it, says Let's Go Sports. He was the best option for us this offseason, but trust me, he drove me nuts with his fumbling and bad decision making. His athletic ability made up for it. The Colts game was a prime example. The problem with Justin Fields is he was thrown in the fire, was never properly coached. Justin Fields was never taken underneath anybody's ring and just like brought up, right? I mean, obviously they got a 4th round pick for Justin Fields and a 4th round pick for Russell Wilson as well. It could have been 5th. Can't remember what the commissary picks were for him. But they traded him for what, a 6th round pick? They moved up in life by bringing Justin Fields on. Alpha Rob says, it doesn't matter who the Steelers quarterback is. Rudolph, Rodgers, Cousins, Steelers in 5. No. I'm sorry, I cracked myself up. Alpha Rob says, it doesn't matter who the Steelers quarterback is. Mason Rudolph, Aaron Rodgers, or Kirk Cousins, they still won't win a playoff game. If they have Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is a 6 seed, and they go into Buffalo, Alpha Rob, the Buffalo Bills better be ready. If Aaron Rodgers, as a 6 seed, goes into Arrowhead Stadium, and we finally get the Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes battle, they better be ready. Aaron Rodgers is not ready to pass that torch off to those boys. Aaron Rodgers is the man, the myth, the legend. Aaron freaking Rodgers, baby. Listen, if Aaron Rodgers ends in Pittsburgh, they are a 12-win team. They are potentially winning that division, depending on what the Ravens do. I think their over-under was 11.5 win. I had them about 13 wins pre-draft, obviously. So, depending on what they do. But listen, Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers is nice. It is nice, it is nice, it is nice. Let's Go Sports says, if we extend Pickens and have both him and DK, we will be lethal when they come get our quarterback for a long time. I don't know what the Steelers salary cap situation is right now. DK Metcalf got a 5-year, $150 million deal. That's a lot of bones. That's a lot of Benjamins. That's a lot of hay in the haystack. George Pickens is probably going to want an equivalent payday. George Pickens is probably going to want equivalent payday to that 5-year, $50 million deal. And I don't know if the Pittsburgh Steelers can legitimately do that. Where'd my mouse go? Let's look at the Pittsburgh Steelers salary cap. So Steelers salary cap. So I usually go to Over the Cap is where I get most of my cap news, right? So in 2026, they have $115 million in team caps in cap space. That does have DK Metcalf as a base salary of $25 million with a $6 million signing bonus and a dead cap hit of $31 million. So they do have the cap space, right? They do have the cap space of a $115 million deal. If you legitimately sign George Pickens, let's say, to an equivalent 5-year, $150 million deal, $25 million per season, what do you do for quarterback? Do you hopefully draft a quarterback in 2026? Do you hope that Will Howard or Milroe or Jaxson Dart is the guy now? Or do you consistently use this bridge gap quarterback thing, right? Geno Smith could be a free agent next season. Do you go out there and get Geno Smith for like a season or two, kick the can down the road a little bit more, bring in another bridge gap guy? At the time, Matthew Stafford could maybe be a free agent. Like at what point do you say we need to go get a quarterback? It's just like, it is just tough. It is tough. Real ball talk with Billy Jack said the Cowboys game cost Justin the job, in my opinion. Worst performance of the season. Real ball with Willie Jack. The Colts game was terrible for Justin Fields. That game was absolutely abysmal. Let's just be flat out honest. But in my heart of hearts, in my opinion, Russell Wilson was going to come back into the starting lineup regardless of Justin Fields was 7-0, 8-0, 15-0, 16-0. When Russell Wilson was 100%, when Russell Wilson was ready, Mike Tomlin was going to put Russell Wilson in there. That is my hearts of hearts. So Justin Fields was in a lose-lose situation. He could play out of his mind, and he could play terrible, whatever. Either way, he's being benched once Russell Wilson is 100%. Let's go. Sports says, don't forget about TJ Watt is a Steeler for life, and we have to extend him while in that cost as well. Yeah, TJ Watt's contract's coming up as well. So let's not forget about that. So as they do have that $119 million cap space for 2026, a lot of that's going to get eaten up pretty quick because we've seen Myles Garrett, start off with Max Crosby as a $40 million man, and then Myles Garrett got the $42 million. So TJ's probably going to want 45, 46 million, right? Just what it's going to be. Norris sellers trade up for Arch Manning. Pause. Arch Manning is going to go number 1 overall. That's going to be a lot of trading up to go get Arch Manning. So let's just pause right there. I don't think that's going to happen. Guys, it's time for a little bit of factor crap. Guys, factor crap is very, very simple. I scour the old X machine, get on the old Twitters, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchatties, Pinterest, and the interwebs, and I see what the people are talking about. And we determine right here on Man, are they fact or are they crap? So, guys, the first factor crap of the day is we got to go into the NFL draft. We got to go to the NFL draft, and we've been talking a lot about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers seem to be drafting a quarterback in this year's draft. But, however, Jaxson Dart has been flying up the draft boards. We all know mock drafts are all fake and fugazi, but he started off as a day 2 pick, meaning Jaxson Dart. Then he's jumped up into a late day 1 pick, and now after his NFL Pro Day, he is now sneaking into the top 10 NFL draft mock drafts in this year's mock drafts. So, guys, facts or crap? Will Jaxson Dart be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft in 2025? Let's think about this logically. Let's sit back and think about this logically. The teams that are drafting in the top 10, who needs a quarterback? So right now we have the Titans, we have the Browns, Giants, Patriots, Jaguars, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, and Saints and Bears all drafting in the top 10. The Tennessee Titans need a quarterback. They also need a receiver, running back, offensive line, nose guard, edge rusher, linebacker, safety, and a kicker. So the Titans do need a quarterback. So yes, there is one. The Browns, right? The Browns could go either way. They could go with Travis Hunter. They could go with Abdul Carter. They don't need a quarterback. They have a Super Bowl winning quarterback on the roster. So we're going to say, meh. Right? Meh. Probably not. The Giants, you could say legitimately need a quarterback. Yes. So there is two. You can have all the guys you want in the world, but two, right? The Patriots have their guy, Drake May. Jaguars have their guy. Raiders are, right? They have faith in AOC still, but they have Geno Smith. They're not going to draft a quarterback at six overall. Jets are not drafting a quarterback. Panthers not drafting a quarterback. And the Saints, they could, but probably not, whatever. But the Bears are definitely no. So realistically, there are two teams in the top 10 that will be drafting quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward probably go 1 and 2 or 3 at the end of the day. So when we look at the draft and only two teams are needing a quarterback in the top 10, realistically, we can say crap. He is not going to go in the top 10. However, we know how the NFL draft goes. Once one quarterback starts to go off the board, they all start going off the board. Last year, we saw 6 quarterbacks in the top 12. Crazy. But guys, fact or crap, will Jaxson Dart be a top 10 draft pick in the 2025 NFL draft? I am saying fact. Because the NFL draft is like a college party with drunk guys. The NFL draft is like a sausage fest at a college party, and 3 hot girls walk in. Three girls walk in, right? 3 girls walk into a sausage fest party. That is what the NFL draft is. The NFL draft are all the guys, and the quarterbacks are the 3 girls, right? The people that do not have penises. Let's just be honest. And once one semi-cute girl walks up and starts talking to somebody, everybody piles in, and like all of a sudden it's a big gangbang at the end of the day. Guys, Jaxson Dart is going to go in the top 10. There are going to be people out there that start to freak out. Once Cam Ward goes off the board, once Shedeur Sanders goes off the board, you are going to see people start freaking out like, oh, I thought Jaxson Dart was going to drop down to 12. I thought Jaxson Dart was going to drop down to 21. I thought he was going to... You are going to see a team like the Steelers jump up there and get him at, hell, potentially number 3, number 4, number 5. You are going to see a team like the Saints freak out and jump up and try to go get a quarterback. You are going to see teams out of the blue jump up there and try to get Jaxson Dart because they don't think he's going to drop that far, and they want that quarterback. They think he's a big name, and all of a sudden is. But I think it's a fact. So what do you guys think? Fact or crap? Will Jaxson Dart go in the top 10 in this year's NFL draft? Let's Go Sports says Dart isn't worth trading up for. Honestly, maybe trading down in the first round, but I don't think it's worth going out to get him in the first. And like Let's Go Sports, you were exactly right. It is not worth it to jump up there and go get Jaxson Dart in the top 10. Jaxson Dart should legitimately be a second-day pick, second or third round pick. Let's just be flat out honest. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders should probably go 15th, 16th, 17th in this year's draft if you're basing everything off of talent and skill level. But since you are a quarterback, even though you're the 15th overall player, all of a sudden that jumps you up 15 spots. So if we think Jaxson Dart is a mid-second round player, you got to jump that about 15 spots. Mid-first round, right? Maybe late first round. But then there's going to be a team out there like, oh, we need a quarterback. Let's go up there and get him. It is tough. It is tough. Willie Jack says, hell nope. The Dart hype is overdrive, but top 10 is literally the jumping off the shark. Shake my head. Willie Jack, we have seen teams out there that have made a drastic first-round pick. Las Vegas Raiders do it all the time. They make stupid asinine, asinine 12 picks. There's going to be a team that's going to probably jump up there and take Jaxson Dart way too early. James Frank says, if the Browns take Carter at 2, look for them to jump back into the first round at 20. James, that would not shock me. What also would not shock me is if the Tennessee Titans move back to 3rd or 4th and they jump back up into the first round. That's what really, the Titans are going to be the wild card. But Alpha Rob says fact. Or sorry, crap. My bad. Crap. Jaxson Dart is going to go to the Buffalo Bills at number 29. I'm kidding, Alpha Rob. But guys, that is fact or crap. The next up is this man. This man, his name is Mark Kaboly. Caboly. During the NFL coaches meeting addressed on media just the other day, this guy surfaced of Mark just being all kind of full mouth breathing and passed out. Like I don't know what this is. Mark loves his Steelers. You can clearly see that he loves his Steelers. Look at that. That man is all about it. Guys, fact or crap? If you had the opportunity to sit at an NFL annual meeting with the coaches and the owners and everybody else, would you be like this man? Would you be like this man? Like, I'm not trying to dog Mark, I'm not trying to dog him, but man, this guy is full-blown mouth breathing, half asleep. If you go back and actually watch this interview, Mike Tomlin actually looks at him and then he starts to cover his mouth like, oh shit, like I'm mouth breathing that bad? Like, yeah, brother, you are. You are.